Hi there, this is Ramona Shah, and today we're having another episode of Leadership Café where I drink my coffee, but we talk about leadership and anything to help you become a high performing boss people love to work for. Now, today I want to talk about micromanaging because it's something that often is a bit of a blind spot. So, we all know the term micromanager, and everyone is basically aware that it's not good to be a micromanager and that there is some severe costs to micromanaging, including high turnover and employee dissatisfaction. Now, the reason why I say it's a blind spot is because although we know it's not good, many of us do it unconsciously without realizing, or unconsciously we micromanage and don't realize that we're micromanaging, and others perceive us as being a micromanager, when in fact we think we're being very helpful and very proactive and engaged and a great boss. And then we may have the chance to do a 360 assessment, something I do with most of my clients, or we might have the opportunity to get specific feedback from a person who then shares this insight of like, actually, I think you're micromanaging. Or they may say it a little bit differently, but it opens that blind spot of it explores that blind spot to realize like, oh my God, I should be a little bit more hands off. So reason that I'm saying all this is because there are indicators that you can self-evaluate if you're falling into this category potentially, or have a tendency to micromanage. Now, I'm talking about the 4 signs of micromanagement. The first question to ask yourself that is a clear sign that you may be at risk of micromanaging is if you're the bottleneck. If you're constantly recognizing when people tell you they're waiting on you to sign off, to confirm, to approve, all those things, that they're being held back. And as a result, they may be delayed in their project, or they're complaining about inefficient processes. They may say it really nicely as if this is a little bit inefficient, or it's slowing us down, or they follow up with you multiple times because you don't have the capacity to deal with all those things immediately. And then you're creating a bottleneck in your team. That would be a first sign to say, maybe I need to rethink the way I deal with and manage my team. So I'm not being a bottleneck, which could actually be a symptom of being a micromanager. The second one is if you're actually thinking you could do it better and faster than anyone else. So if you're genuinely thinking you could do it faster and better than your team members, there is a good chance you might be micromanaging. Now, the cure to this is to spend more time with your team members, to coach them, not do it for them, not constantly looking over their shoulders, but to give them assignments, coach them so that they get better, and then slowly take a step back and see how they're growing with this opportunity of doing their own thing and having ownership over something, and see that as the ultimate benefit. Now, another question to ask is, would others describe you as a perfectionist? So if you think that you're considering yourself a perfectionist, and you've heard other people say you're a perfectionist, there is a bit of a chance that you're at risk. There is a chance that you're at risk for micromanaging because you want everything to be at your standards. These are your standards. Now, other people have other standards. They're not necessarily lower. It's not just lower or higher. They're just different. Right? They have different standards. Now, if you need to have things done your way, because that is to you what equals perfectionism, or being perfect, or as perfect as it possibly can be, the consequence might be that you're too involved in the nitty-gritty stuff, and people in your team may feel like they only can deliver it one way, which is your way, instead of also their way. The last symptom is if you don't actually trust people, or have a hard time trusting people. And you may notice this in your personal life as well as at your job. If you assign something and you're fearing that this could not look so good, or could not turn out so good, and there's a constant worry about it, you can't delegate it and let it go, and you worry about it, then that could be because you're having a hard time trusting other people, which a lot of us do. And the cure to this one is incremental uh, progress. So you give something small with a little risk that needs to be mitigated, or a little risk where something is has a low risk in case it doesn't go as expected. You get more comfortable, and you're slowly pushing the line, and you start building trust with another person, because slowly you see things actually do turn out well, even if they're not exactly done the way you would do it. They're not exactly what you consider perfect, but you'll see that the trade-off is that your employees and your team members will get a lot more engaged and motivated and excited about having the ownership. And as a result of that, are more likely to deliver good results. So these are 4 signs. If you're a bottleneck, and you notice it and people tell you, if you consider yourself a perfectionist, that's another one. If you're having a hard time to trust other people, and if you generally and genuinely think that you could do it faster and better than other people. And this may initially be the case with a new team, of course, but if that happens and it keeps happening, you keep thinking that down the road as your team is pretty stable, then that could be putting you at risk of micromanaging. So these are 4 signs to consider, reflect on in your role and in your behavior to see what it be like. And then you can also just ask for feedback. Ask people, like, what should I be doing more of, less of, or keep doing that you appreciate or don't appreciate, right? And this is an easy question to get to collect some feedback from your team members on an ongoing basis. That's my quick tip for today. I wish you a fabulous rest of the day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.